All right, welcome back into the John Nabors Show. As I wanted to bring up something, this will be a quick little segment, but I think it's an important one for many reasons. And it's something that it's a touchy subject, and it's a very touchy thing to deal with, but I think it needs to be addressed. Normally, I wouldn't go into any sort of in-depth about this, but because it gets put up on social media and because it's happened, I think it needs to be addressed, and just a friendly reminder to everybody out there, okay? The Razorback baseball season came to an end too early. We know it was frustrating. It was upsetting. It was upsetting to Razorback fans. And anytime that something like that happens, the emotions come out, and it really gets sometimes the best of some. And I saw a lot on social media, a lot, from fans that I actually know are real people. And when I say real people, like using their name and actually their profile picture actually is them, that said some things that was a little like, oh man, it's probably just somebody who's very emotional, very upset. And then a lot of it comes in with the trolling. A lot of the people who don't have names on their profile or anything, just tweeting out or posting some really horrible things, some things that kind of got personal in some ways. But on the Natty State Sports social media account on Twitter, one of the things that I've always filmed or at least put up in content is whenever the season comes to an end, to see the reactions from the players. Not trying to get in their face and do it, or trying to make a mockery of them or getting them in their most emotional state, but I like to do that because it's a reminder that as upset as you are as a fan, the players are even more upset than you. Like, that's a guarantee. And just a friendly reminder. Well, I saw a lot of people posting their own responses after that. And like, saying, I won't even dignify with the responses, but not just saying disappointing, golly shucks, but being pretty harsh. After a game, emotions are high. People say things they probably shouldn't. They tweet things they shouldn't. But this was something I wanted to personally bring up. And I know Peyton Stovall and Peyton Stovall's family personally. They're awesome people. You will not find a better kid than Peyton Stovall, and you will not find a better family than who the Stovalls are and what they represent. I got to know them. I had the honor of getting to know them over the past few years, as well as a lot of the players' families. They came to our football tailgate. A lot of them did, and got to know them there, and it was awesome. And they're great people. But this was a response put out there by Peyton Stovall's dad, and it said, "It's so saddening reading all the negatives that are posted. No one has any clue what our boys feel. The amount of themselves that they poured into this program, the dedication, their everything. My child for 3 years gave his all, never tried to fail, always had the heart." And he also went on to say, "People need to learn to stay positive, and that rolls over. We stayed off social media all year just so we didn't have to read any of it. Enough is enough until you get out there and you do what they do daily, and then your opinion is not valued unless it's supportive." So you read that, and I saw that, and that was in response to our tweet that we had about the video. And I would say that after I retweeted it, because I wanted everyone to see it, people, of course, came to the support of the baseball team, into the Stovall family and everything. But there was a lot more than just that. And I'm not going to go into names and everything. The only reason I did for Matt is because he tweeted it out, and so it was public. But I had players' parents talk to me about things and about things that they saw, things that were said about their kids, not only there in Baum, but also on social media. And some of them, I've known them, and I've known them for a while and everything. And it was disheartening. Now, full disclosure here. I'm not saying that you can't voice frustrations, because you're a fan. You're going to. And of course, parents, family members are going to be extra sensitive to it because it's their kid. Like, that's a fact. But both things can be right at the same time. You can have fans that are over the top, ridiculously overcritical, mean-spirited, pissed off, over-emotional, and saying and tweeting things that they shouldn't, while also crossing the line of what some of these parents have to see and have to deal with, knowing that their kid is getting talked about personally, having things said about them, and knowing what their kid went through and how devastated they were, and knowing that there's people out there that feel that way. It's a very touchy thing, and it's a very tough thing to navigate through. It really is. And I'm not saying that every single thing that a fan says that a parent of a player hears is off limits, and you should just, anytime the parents are around, you just have to make sure you keep your mouth shut and just be ultra positive or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But you got to keep that in perspective of knowing that this is their kid. And if it was your kid, you'd be the same way as they would. If you heard some of the things that was being said that was directed at your kid, or if you read some of the tweets, some of the things that were being tweeted that was directed at your kid, how would that make you feel? How upsetting would that make you? I guarantee you it would. All I'm asking, and I'm not trying to be the police on how to express your frustrations. I am just saying all of this just as a friendly reminder to all of you folks. Remember, whenever you say things and when you tweet things, it's like people are going to see it. And it's very cowardly to do it behind an anonymous Twitter account as it is. But when you cross lines and you get personal and everything like that, you got to remember that these are still just kids. These are guys that don't even have full scholarships. And don't give me the NIL crap. Because a lot of these players don't get any NIL, if any. They're just playing to play because they love the game. And they gave it their all. So just for the future, remember that. And to keep that into consideration. I was devastated. I was pissed off. I was frustrated. I was even critical. Critical of certain players and critical of certain times and certain decisions and everything. It's okay to be critical. But just remember that this is something to where these kids aren't just showing up like one and dones and I'm out of here. They're not showing up because they got paid millions of dollars in NIL. They're doing it because they love the game. They stick around and they play the game. And they chose Arkansas and they want to play for Dave Van Horn. And they literally put in everything that they possibly could. You think that they wanted to fall short in the regionals? You think that that's what they wanted? If you want to direct frustrations, go to the coaches. You want to be pissed off about something? Criticize Dave Van Horn. Criticize Nate Thompson. Criticize Matt Hobbs. Criticize that. Go after that. But don't make it personal against the players. So I feel for the families. I couldn't imagine what that's like. I even tweeted it out. I'm like, Razorback fans or just fans in general. It's like that really, really hot bipolar girlfriend that you dated and yet you had, where when things are good, there's nothing better. Everything's great. Everything's amazing. The food tastes better. The trips are, you're laughing, you're cutting up, you're having a great old time. But when things go bad, it goes off the rails. That's fans. That's just how fans are. So just remember that, folks. Keep that in mind. And I'm not asking you to, just keep your mouth shut and never criticize. I'm not saying that. But just remember that and keep that in mind anytime you say something, anytime you tweet something. Just remember that. Okay? That's all I'm asking. I promise. That's all I'm asking.